Hello and welcome. This video is for Algebra 1. You should be on page 4 of your quarter 1 notebook. We will be talking about properties of real numbers. So let's take a look at this first example. I've got 7 plus in parentheses 3 plus 2 equals 7 plus 3 in parentheses plus 2. This is an example of the associative property of addition. And the associative property of addition tells me that if I have a number A and added to A is B plus C in parentheses, so we know the order of operations will have us add B and C first, it will equal A plus B in parentheses plus C. So it doesn't matter how I associate my adding. Even if I add this first and then the A, or add A plus B and then the C, the result will be the same. My next property is also an associative property, and it is called the associative property of, as you can imagine, since there's multiplication here, multiplication. And that's a lot to write. So like addition, if I have a number A and I multiply it by B times C, so I have to multiply B times C first, that product multiplied by A, I will get the same answer as if I multiplied A times B first and then multiplied that product times C. So I like to think of associative properties are like who I associate with. Who do I hang out with? That's what's happening. And here the 3 and 2 are hanging out together. And this side, 7 and 3 are hanging out together. It doesn't matter with addition and multiplication where the parentheses fall. But don't apply this associative property to division and subtraction. It doesn't work. It's an addition and multiplication property. Likewise, I've got another addition and multiplication property, and these are the commutative properties. I think of the commutative properties like commuting to work. So I'm moving things around. My first commutative property of addition, property of addition. I've got 7 plus 11 plus 6 equals the exact same thing as 11 plus 6 plus 7. Doesn't matter in which order I'm adding it, I'm still going to get the same sum. Written out algebraically, A plus B plus C does equal C plus B plus A. Likewise, if I've got the commutative property of multiplication, and this is where I might be too lazy to write multiplication out. I'm just going to write MULT and abbreviate it. -4 times 7 times 8 is the exact same product as 8 times -4 times 7. Written algebraically, A times B times C will equal C times B times A. Our next property seems obvious, but it is a property. This is called the zero property of multiplication. And I will abbreviate multiplication still. Any number multiplied by 0 equals 0, period. Anytime you multiply anything times 0, even 1 billion, you will get 0. The next two properties are identity properties. I think of your identity as who you are. For addition, my identity property says that if I add 0 to you, you're still going to be you. So if I add nothing to 19, I have 19. So this is the identity property. I want that in green. I'm following a pattern, as you can see. So identity property. Now I'm going to start abbreviating the word property of addition. A plus 0 will equal A. Anything plus 0 equals the same thing. This is your identity property. I'm not following the pattern anymore of my color. That's okay. of multiplication. For multiplication, if I multiply any number times 1, I will get the same number. So A times 1 equals A. My next two kind of grouping of properties are called the inverse properties. And I use the inverse properties a lot in solving equations. This is the inverse property. And I imagine you know it's of addition. And the next one is going to be the inverse property of multiplication. What the inverse properties are doing is if I take a number and add its opposite, the result or the sum will always be 0. So if I have A and I add its opposite, negative A, the result or sum will be 0. With the inverse property of multiplication, if I multiply any number by its reciprocal, the product is 1. So if I have A over B and multiply it by B over A, the reciprocal, the product is 1. I can also think about it like, for instance, 3 times 1 over 3. So if I put this over a 1, make a reciprocal of a whole number, that equals 1. Final property in this video is the distributive property. I can distribute over addition and subtraction. This is the same as 5 times 8 plus 5 times x. I distribute the 5 into the parentheses, and that in turn equals 40 plus 5x. So I just have to write distributive property now. And that says that A times B plus C will always equal A times B plus A times C. That's it for this video. Thanks so much.